Hello and welcome to Talking About podcast where I talk about anything and everything. And just take a second and kind of think. Like my last two episodes have been kind of depressing, to be honest with you. I just want to take a second to talk about how much I appreciate life, and it's just how much I appreciate life, to be honest with you. So for those of you who do not know, I mean, not very many people know this about me, as I go to the dog park at least once a week, and I do have a dog. It's not technically my dog, it's my roommate's dog, but I go with my roommate to the dog park at least once a week. I usually have Sundays off, so I'd go Sundays with her. And it's always like we go there for an hour and a half. Oh, because it's a huge park. So sometimes we'll be there for like 2 hours, but we're not just at the dog park. And I went Friday to the dog park because I had the day off. And I don't think I've ever been to a dog park on a Friday, but it was Friday after work. It was like 5, 6 ish, and the dog park was going crazy. There were so many dogs, so many people. It was just insane. There was just so many things going on. So we get there, we're just having fun, just like talking while the dog does its own thing, watching all these other dogs. And then there's this lady. She's a smaller Asian woman, and she has this border collie that she has. And I see her get out of her car. It's like a little Nissan car. She gets out, she gets her dog, and her dog is like always attached to her side, like no matter what. So she comes into the park and she always has like this iPad that she has with her. I'm not sure what she does on it. And she sits completely across the dog park from us, but like right in front of us, if that makes sense. Like literally facing each other, just like 120 feet away. So I watch as her border collie like gets excited, sniffs all the dogs, comes and says hi to us, not just like hi to us, but just hi to everybody in general, and finds one of the like dog park tennis balls. Somebody must have bought like a 20 pack because there's a bajillion tennis balls in this dog park now. So the dog goes to its owner, and the owner is like sitting there on her iPad, just like doing whatever. The dog brings the ball to her, and the bench that she's sitting on has been dug out by so many dogs, so it's cemented in, but it's been dug so deep that you can see the cement. So it's like a good 3 foot drop from like the bottom of the bench. So she's a smaller Asian woman, and so she has to jump down, sets her iPad down, jumps down, and throws this ball for the dog. As you can guess, this little Asian woman can't throw the ball too terribly far. Nothing against her. I'm not saying that Asians can't throw anything, but she can throw this ball just a little bit, like not too far, like maybe 30, 40 feet. And the dog sprints, goes and gets it, brings it back. And the Asian woman's like, okay, I'll throw it for you again. She throws it, and it lands next to another tennis ball. This dog sprints after it, sniffs the other tennis ball, like realizes it's not his or her, the dog's ball, and like goes and sniffs like all the other tennis balls around this her ball, right? Finally finds her ball, and by the time she finally finds her ball, her owner's already sitting up on the bench. This dog like gets halfway to its owner, drops the ball, and like sprints up to the owner and jumps up on the bench with her, and just sits there with the owner and just stares at her and starts like pawing her arm, like wanting attention, wanting pets, something like that. And the owner does this thing where she pushes the dog as far as she can away from her, like arm's length pushed away on this bench, but just doesn't hold the dog, but just pets the dog's neck while being fully extended. And she's still sitting there on her iPad doing her thing. It's the cutest little thing. And every time I've seen this little Asian woman a few times now, and I always think it's the cutest thing. So I always grab like a photo, or I try to take a little video without being creepy, because it makes me enjoy life so much. Like seeing someone have so much love for something, and seeing a dog so in love with its owner. Like the dog, my roommate's dog, Indigo, could give a shit less. Like she just like kind of lays there at the park or sometimes plays. But this dog is like so infatuated by their owner that like this dog will not leave the owner's side. And so they ended up being there for only like 20, 30 minutes. And it was just like this dog just like whining and pawing at their owner, and the little Asian woman just getting like not upset, but just being like, go play, like you love playing here, and just the dog being like, I know, I want your attention. It's just like the cutest little thing ever. And it's like, I am such a sucker for dogs in general, but like seeing someone have so much love and so much care and just like living their own life with their own dog, like clearly like just like, come on, just go play with something else, like leave me alone, let me do whatever I'm doing. It's just so funny. And it makes you really think. Like, I started looking around at all the other owners of the dogs, and you'd be kind of shocked how many times the owner looks a lot like their dog. It's really funny. But it's just like I started noticing the little things. Like there's a New York dude who went, "Hey, buddy," and his dog was named Buddy. It was a golden poodle, just sprinting around, humping literally everybody. There's LJ, who's owned by a really tall Asian man. He's a little bit of a thicker golden retriever that has knocked down a grandma and many children at this park. There is we met Reef, who was a like an Aussie border collie mix that had the most amount of energy and would run in circles around her owner's bench. And then there was this other dog who was like some kind of black and white mutt and would sit next to their owner's feet. And their owner was probably like a college kid, like just college girl, and would just sit there and whine at her, just staring at her, being like, I want to leave. Like, I don't want to be here. And the college girl would just get up and walk around, and like the dog followed right by her heels, like whining the entire time. And then as soon as she like went to grab his leash, he like sprinted back to the gate and was like whining at the gate, sitting there being a good boy. There's all these dogs, there's all these people, and it's crazy. Like, there's a big old buff guy wearing a black compression shirt with khakis, phenomenal haircut, full tattoo sleeves, just like you're one of the mill, like average book boyfriend. And he had the littlest, like cutest French bulldog that was a yapper. He would just bark and bark and bark. There's there was also two white golden retrievers, or white retrievers. I'm not sure what you call them. They're golden retrievers but white, and they're sisters. And one of them's named Daisy, and they were there. There was this huge mastiff that came in with one of the dogs that has a really long snout, and his other brother. There was the old lady who has three dogs. There, she has a older white lab that's like just kind of like a mantis, just kind of goes around and just like does his own thing. And then there's a like little, not little baby, probably like a 1-year-old German Shepherd that has all the energy in the world. And then there's a brown hound dog that's like in between those two ages that like follows the ball while the golden retriever plays with everybody else, or while the German Shepherd plays with everybody else. So going to the dog park has really like opened my eyes to seeing that like there are so many people in the world with so many different things going on in their life. And the terminology for it is sondering. I like to think of it as people watching. Like, the amount of people that I see once a week, like, there are definitely some repeats that I see. There's the old lady I've met before, like, I've met Daisy before, I've met Buddy before, I've met a bunch of these, like, dogs before. And it's the fact that I know these people and I see these people, like, nearly on a weekly basis. It's kind of crazy. But they all live their own lives. Like, they just happen to come to the dog park the same time I go. Or maybe they go daily. Maybe they go 3 times a week. Like, it makes me realize how people live their own life and how many other people actually like live their own life and do their own thing and like have all these unique experiences outside of like what I've experienced. So that's my little story time for today. But like going to the dog park has made me appreciate the little things a lot more. I appreciate the sun I get on my skin during these winter months out there, even if I'm freezing my ass off and the dog's not playing with anybody. It makes me appreciate all these other people who bring their dogs to the dog park so I get to meet them. You know how many dogs I pet when I'm at the dog park? I pet so many. I say hi to so many dogs. I always try to figure out their names. I always try to figure out who's humping who. Just like all these things, or who's a digger, who's a yapper. You know, but yeah, just all these things make me really grateful to have the human experiences that I do, to be able to connect with so many other people on such a basic thing. Like, so many Americans have dogs or have multiple dogs. Yet this is my own little community of people that I like have dogs like me. But like I get to see them every week. I get to hang out with them, quote unquote. Like, it makes me grateful at the fact that I have a conscience that I can relate to these people without even like having a conversation with them. That I can connect with them and understand that they're here for the benefit of their dogs. And that's something I can respect out of somebody, you know? So, if you have a dog, go to a dog park with them, please. It is so rewarding, and it makes you just think, like, in general. Like, it makes you think about everything there ever is, you know? So, thank you for listening to this episode. Please give it a 5-star rating. And yeah, please leave a comment. Tell me if this fucking sucks or if this is great. So, yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to catch you in the next one.